Good morning. Happy Tuesday. It is Dr. Ashley Romanchuk, naturopathic doctor, with my focused breath pranayama class. As I say, this is not naturopathic medicine. That's just my title. This is essentially yoga. There is no medical advice or treatment that is given in this. Anything that is spoken about is actually yoga. Welcome. So for any of you that are brand new to the class, we are finishing our series 1. So this has been 6 weeks of introduction to pranayama, and there is actually some advanced yogic breaths that we have been working with. They are all recorded. I lost one recording, but it's not a big deal. So recorded and posted to my Facebook page, Focused Breath, and also to my YouTube channel, Dr. Ashley Christina. Christina with a K, Kristina. All of these classes run by donation. So that is up to your own integrity. That does not mean they're free. That means that you have room if you can afford $20 for a class, or $10 for a class, or $5 for a class, or if you're a billionaire and want to give me $100 for a class, like thumbs up. It's about your own integrity. It's email transferred to my email, Romanchuk, AKROMANCHUK@gmail.com. This is great for anybody that is now wearing a mask, is stressed out in life, wants to delve deeper into yoga, and also learn yogic philosophy. Anybody, really, in general. Of course, if you have your own issues, you have to pay attention to yourself, right? So pranayama, breathing, brings people into focus of their breath. So basically, it's one of the first steps of yoga is sense withdrawal. So coming into our own self, our interior environment, instead of always having our level of consciousness outside of ourselves. Lots of detoxifying breaths in this class. Breaths that help support lung, cardiovascular, heart, digestive health, immune system health, hormonal health, and also through breathing, we can align the spine, which is a big deal in yoga. The 6 weeks of classes, as I said, have been posted, and so it's good for people that have been following to now go back, because each time we pick up new knowledge and techniques and wisdom. Lots of yoga has been taught in these classes. I'll start the next 6 weeks, most likely November 1st. And that'll take us to the middle of December, which is good. And then will be more advanced yoga and pranayama coming into those classes. These breaths that I've already introduced are quite a lot, and somebody could spend even a few years practicing them. I've been practicing pranayama now for, yoga itself since I was probably 15 years old. But I've carried the knowledge from past lives as well, which is a thing that's taught that in the yogic texts as well. You do carry your knowledge from your past lives into your life. Breathing, pranayama, really focused on pranayama, probably for about 12 or 13 years. So this is not new for me, and when I'm teaching these breaths, I've done this for a long time. So if it's taking you time, it does take time, and you can keep going over these classes, and that's why I'm giving a pause between each series so that people can go back over these classes. So, as always, open your windows. Very basic. Breathe in fresh oxygen when you're breathing. If you're in bed, that is a great place to be in breathing pranayama because you want to be in a very calm state, and being in our nourishing rest environment of our bed really keeps us in this calm state. If you are seated, always sitting on a mat or a cushion, because it creates an anterior tilt to your hips, which essentially puts the proper curvature into your spine. So your spine and your posture is very important while you're breathing. If you are in bed, your sacrum, which is your triangular bone between your hips, just focus your attention on that, make sure it's flat. And lengthen out your legs and turn them inwards, okay? So instead of outwards, turn them inwards, because this helps align the spine. You straighten back your shoulders and your head and neck, okay? And essentially you're in a good spot in bed because now your spine's straight. If you're seated, you're on a cushion, legs crossed in whichever form is comfortable for you. Some people it might be more out, some people it might be with a leg on top. Hopefully you can cross your legs. If not, it might be more advised to get into some stretching postures to get nice and limber. Your abdominal muscles are engaged. So right here above your pubic bone, it is sucked in towards the back and then up. So this gets your diaphragm working properly. Your ribs are above your hips. Your sit bones, the bony parts of your bum, are equal into the cushion or the ground. One's not forward and one's not backward. And it's important to check in with that. And this, yeah, it's all engaged. So this is work. It's not a lazy man's thing to just sit and go, I'm going to breathe. Because when you're like this, your lungs aren't able to expand properly. So it's a very breathe in, your shoulders are rolled back and down, away from your ears. Rib cage above your hips, so you can feel your bony part of your hips, and then right on your rib cage, it should be aligned. And then your shoulders above all this. And then always a ribbon drawing up. And this is taught in ballet. So anybody that's been in ballet, this will be very easy. It's a very ballet posture. Anybody that's not been in ballet, you might be like I was when I was, 3 and 4 years old in ballet class. And I'm like, what do you mean a ribbon up to the sky? Like I didn't totally understand that. But you extend your head. It's a consciousness, a level of consciousness. Everything in the body, everything can be healed through your consciousness. It takes awareness. And posture, where your body is sitting in 3D space, is a very big deal. So you start to think, like if you could, if even somebody could take the top of your hair and pull it up to the roof, that's essentially what you're speaking about when it's like a ribbon up to the sky. So it gets your cervical spine, your neck, elongated. And it also puts proper space in your very up top of vertebrae, which often get lazy, and is especially important if you've had a whiplash accident. So from here, we're just going to go into our breath. So just tuning in now. Perhaps think a good thought, something grateful, put your mind on your highest self, like your best version of yourself that you know possible. That's a way to do it. Or your love of God in whatever form that is. Like for some people that is Jesus Christ. For some people that is Allah. For that, some people it's Ramesh. Some people it's Krishna. Some people it's Creator. Some people it's Divine Mother, their parents. Some people it's their partner. So setting your mind on God is another one. And God meaning divine love. And then just tuning into your breath. So breathing in, well, not changing your breath, just noticing your breath. So this is how we attune first. So hopefully you're breathing through your nose. A lot of people are mouth breathers. This is a first attunement. Okay, let's start breathing through our nose. Breathing through the nose puts your body in parasympathetic nervous system, rest and digest. I've stated this a few times, so it's good to go back through my videos to learn. It's simply breathing. So I'm going to be quiet so everybody can actually focus for a moment or two. Place the tip of your tongue up against the upper palate, the roof of your mouth, behind your two front teeth. A very special spot right here that the tip of your tongue rests. Ideally at all times. Puts you into a very special place of meditative inwardness. A very special energetic place right there. So tip of your tongue behind your two front teeth, up here. And maybe we can start increasing the inhale of the breath. So breathing in perhaps for a count of 4 through the nose. Next thing we're going to do is make sure our forehead, our nose, and our chin is back towards the posterior, the back wall that is behind you. This also aligns the cervical spine, which is very important. Inhaling for a count of 4. Keep inhaling for a count of 4 through your nose, tongue on the upper palate of your mouth, behind your front teeth. How you notice that you have entered parasympathetic nervous system, which is where you want to be, as you will start to hear digestive sounds. This is a great breath for anybody suffering from depression, anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder, even every 15 minutes if you're very severely stressed out. Just a couple of minutes to take aside and tune into your breath. Breathe through your nose. Start to do some deep belly breathing, and your digestive system will turn on. This is your cranial nerve 10, your vagal nerve, which is a big deal. Okay, it's parasympathetic nervous system. It's where rest and digest happens and where regeneration of the body at a cellular level occurs. It becomes a somatic state. And this is also how you enter deep meditation and samadhi. The nervous system can be turned on and stays on. You don't want that. So you train yourself through breath to come into your parasympathetic nervous system. If anybody is stressed out, letting out some sighs on the out breath. So breathe in for 4. Breathing in for 4. Why I'm ending this series so that people go back is because I have given so much information. So much information. So one other thing that we're practicing is catching our breath, breathing in when our body wants to breathe in, not simply because we're counting. Very important. Going back into my videos over and over is the way that one starts to master these breaths. Given all what is needed for these breaths. Okay, so we're going to start breathing in for 4 and exhaling either through our nose or mouth. Doesn't really matter. Probably ideally the nose, but it doesn't totally matter. It can be a mix of both. For 4 as well. So breathe in for 4, breathe out for 4. Start to notice your central channel. Okay? When you start to attune to this, you're actually attuning to your central nervous system. It's a big deal. Lots of magic happens when you start to learn about the nervous system. If you wish to do some morning stretches, you can go ahead and do that while you're breathing. Everything about yoga is about following yourself, following your truth. You will not lead you wrong. That's a very important thing. So if you start doing this class and you don't want to do it anymore, go ahead. At one point you might learn that you want to with discipline. Self-discipline becomes an important thing. But it's all a fine balance. Everything in life is a fine balance. Breathing in for 4. breathing out. I did introduce this quite a few weeks ago. Again, why it's good to go through my classes again. It's a very important Kriya. You say, I, my name. So I, Ashley Christina, breathe in divine alignment with source energy. So if I could explain this in words, and when I am talking, you are breathing first. So you're breathing in for 4, breathing out for 4 as I'm speaking. What I'm doing is I'm training you to stay with your breath, focus your mind, and then deal with the outside, which is me at this point. If I could try to put it into words, it's like we have our energy. And based on how we breathe, we can be in different subtle realities. There's only one truthful reality, and that's the divine realm. In yoga, that's called Brahma. Source energy. We're always connected to source energy, but when we're really connected there, it's very palpable. Every moment is a sacred moment, and time becomes eternal, full of divine love, peace, calm, serenity. But if we're not there, based on our breath and our nervous system, just not being totally aligned with source energy, divine realm, we can kind of be away from it, and we can feel away from it. We can feel disconnected, or we can feel like life is fearful, full of anger or hatred or any of these things, which are actually illusions, not real. Maya, that's called Maya. So when you say a decree and put out an intention, so I'm going to breathe with source energy. So if you could imagine source energy as like this big breath of air too. You start breathing with the same. So all of a sudden your lungs expand at the same time. Your lungs contract, your diaphragm contracts at the same time. And it becomes very ethereal, very mystical. That is what yoga does, actually. You can look at even some of the photos of these yogis. You might even notice it sometimes with myself. It's almost like they're ethereal. They move and you're like, whoa, like I feel like I could put my hand through you. And that's what happens. So saying a decree and an intention, and then letting your interior higher self knowledge connect with that, and then you connecting with that. So that's where I'm saying catching the breath, which we've been practicing for several weeks now, is actually very important. You wait until there's a signal, a very subtle signal within yourself that goes, wait, I don't want to breathe in yet. Wait. Yeah. And there's a big alignment that happens in the higher spheres and higher realms. For those just getting into yoga, you might be like, okay, well, not a clue, but it comes from spending time within, paying attention within. It takes time to start to learn and sense these things. We're going to start it, we're going to add the restraint of the breath at the top of the breath and the bottom of the breath now. This is the place of sattva and learning to practice and feel and surrender into the quality of sattva, which is peace. So we breathe in for a count of 4, and then we just hold the breath for a minute, zip it up. Surrender into this place, really feel how peaceful it is, and then we breathe out for a count of 4, and then again, just zip up for a moment. Notice this place. Breathe in for 4. Zip it up. Breathe out for 4. Straight. On your own time. Breathe in for 4. You're counting for yourself now. Pause. Breathe out for 4. Pause. On your own time. Something to add to your breath. Every time you either breathe in or breathe out, you can think with your energy. Actually, this is where you exude energy. Where you think with your energy, but you're exuding. Breathe in, breathe in. I love you. This is devotion. It's a very special energetic place. Lots of magic happens in devotion. Magic means enlightenment, opening into the divine realms. Also, can you see colors with your eyes closed? You can see, is your pineal gland open? It might be a white, it might be black. That means we need to breathe more because breath will remove the veil of the blackness. That's not true. It can be purple if you're really in your very spiritual higher line. It could be red if you're very grounded. Yellow if you're very centered within yourself. Orange, your second chakra. Green, very heart-centered. Blue, very connected with communication and the throat, the thyroid. And then an indigo, very connected to that or divine one. Now is also a good time to just align the spine a little bit more, and this is where we simply do some yeses and no. So just move the head from the very top of the vertebrae, very gentle. Doesn't need to be extreme. Just yes, simple yes action. And then no. If you're really attuned, make sure you're moving just from the very top vertebrae, not using all your neck muscles, not your entire head. It's the very top of the vertebrae. This is where inward yoga, you can even start seeing these parts of your body and really healing the body, which is amazing. We're going to go into Nadi Shodhana from here. So we've got our right hand, pinky and ring finger over our left nostril, middle and pointer over our third eye, and our thumb over our right nostril. Breathing in our right nostril for 4, plug our right nostril, breathe out of our left nostril for a count of 4. Breathe in through our left nostril for a count of 4, plug our left nostril, breathe out through our right nostril for a count of 4. Repeat the cycle. We're doing this about 20 times. Everybody count on your own. You're focusing on your own breath. We're all going to begin together. So breathing in through our right nostril for a count of 4. Soft round. And again, it's a good time to do a yes and no. Just notice if your spine is moving a little bit, because as we're breathing and working with our central nervous system, essentially, that's exactly what we're doing. Our entire central nervous system that runs through our spine can be moving the spine. It is very powerful. This, we're going to go into our very oxygenating breath, so breathing in through our mouth and letting it out. Definitely letting out some sighs if you wish. If you've got some fire, we've introduced the lion's breath. If you are a cold person, you do not want to do the lion's breath. If you're yin and fragile and tired and your body is very thin, you don't want to do the lion's breath. But just breathing in and out through the mouth, very simple. This breath, I've said it a lot of times, it's not very traditional pranayama. I've introduced this breath for the people that really just need to oxygenate their breath. It is good to oxygenate the breath. It is not a very traditional pranayamic breath at all. I learned it from. It is a good breath though for people that are stressed out. So it's not something we'll spend a ton of time doing because it's not very traditional pranayama. This dries out the throat and the mouth, so if you need to drink some water, definitely drink some water. Breath is very good for just contracting the diaphragm. So breathing in through our mouth and then very simple, let it out. Try to hold the breath as it goes out. This breath is especially important to pay attention for when you actually want to breathe in and not hyperventilating, basically based on counting. Wait until you want to breathe in through your mouth. If you want to breathe normal breaths in between, go ahead and do that. It's a very different breath. Swallowing in between breaths is very important. Make sure it's not too dry. Drink water to the end. going to go into a Ujjayi breath from this. So we're going to take everything we just did and move it all through the meridian. This is a very good breath if you're a cold person. Okay, so if you're starting to learn these breaths, and you're starting to practice these breaths, this breath is good. If you are cold in nature, that means you need to wear lots of layers. Perhaps your digestive system doesn't work properly, and maybe you're not absorbing your nutrition very well. Undigested food in your stool, this is a breath to be doing to warm the interior system. Your digestive system needs to be warm to digest your food properly. If you have hypothyroid, this is a breath that you warm your thyroid. If you've got stiff, cold ligaments and joints and muscles, this is a breath that you want to be doing. Okay, so people that are cold people need to do the warming breaths, which is like Ujjayi breath, this breath. People that are hot in nature and have too much energy, too robust, too much heat, they want to do the cooling breaths. So this is where you take these breaths and you find what's best for you. And that's also why I'm giving a break in this series, so you can go back over and you are starting to bring in what you need for you, instead of just following me. Okay, so Ujjayi breath is the breath of the seashore. We breathe in through our nose and breathe out through our nose and mouth, but we're constricting the back of our throat. The breath is called the breath of the seashore because it sounds like the seashore. It sounds like the ocean coming into the seashore, going back out. If you're especially attuned, you might start to see this in your third eye, and you might start to move with it. You become the ocean, the spiritual sea. It can become a very special breath for meditation, for different forms of attuning to the divine realm where lots of magic happens. Like I don't know, once you've been there, it's like real physical, mundane life. Reality to a lot of people is so mundane. So mundane. Okay. So everybody start to just pay attention, breathe in. Constriction, I'll make the sound. Again, going through the videos is good, but this is a very breath that you can kind of get it, but you won't get it just until you start practice and play. And you can feel it moving up in your body. You can hear it in your inside, in your ears, like the inside part of your ears, this whooshing sound. This breath moves the lymphatic system. It moves the cerebral spinal fluid. It actually moves up into the third and fourth ventricles of the brain. It is a very, very important breath to move the energy through the nadi system, which is essentially like the meridians. It's the energetic centers in the body, and it's not just within the body, it's without the body. We've got auric bodies, etheric bodies. Okay, so making some big waves for you so you can hear me. Smile while you're making these breaths. You might even learn to be able to smile out of your third eye. And you can see in the Vedic where they've got the half moon is like a smile. It's because this is a state of enlightened state. You can smile from your eyes. You learn to communicate without need for words, because words are the lower realm. Same with thoughts. There's an entire realm above the mind. Your tongue is always up against the upper palate of your mouth, behind your front teeth. Tune in, check in. Always keep your tongue there. Okay, so for the ones of you that are cold in nature and need to warm your body, you continue with this Ujjayi breath. For the ones of you that are warm in nature, we're going to breathe the breath that I introduced just this past week, Chandra breath. I introduced it on the full moon, and that's where we're going. Fold our tongue, we breathe in through our mouth, and then we're going to use the Ujjayi breath to breathe out, okay? So now we're two different crews working with almost the same breath, but a bit different. Cold people, stay with the Ujjayi breath, where you're breathing in the seashore, breathing out the seashore through your nose, a bit through your mouth, through the back of your palate, constriction. Those of you that are warm in nature and need some cooling to your interior self, we're going to breathe in through our tongue and then breathe out with the sound of the seashore. For those of you with the inner lion or lioness, you might really feel your roar in this breath. It's good. You want robust energy, okay? So having this inner fire, this inner roar, it's good, but we need to know how to have it properly. Too much of it, and we've got aggressive people on earth. That's not a good thing. Okay? We want to have this for the times that we need it, for good things. At any point you need to do your yeses and nos because your cranial bones and your spine is moving. You go ahead. Yes and nos aligns the very top of the spine, the COC1, and then the C1C2 is what it's called. So the top of the head with the first vertebrae, and then the first vertebrae and the second vertebrae. From those being aligned, the rest of the spine will start to align. Okay? So let's just come back into our normal breath of breathing in through our nose and out, and notice how different you might feel at this time. Feels good. There's freedom. And you might start to feel like you can literally start to feel ecstasy through breathing. Ecstatic, joy, happiness, bliss, peace, love. Satchitananda. Where you want to be when people are like ecstatic and happy. This is our truth. We're not meant to be so tired and dull and angry and bitter and cynical and moved. Hell no. Hell. That is hell. Let's go into the detoxifying breaths because it's almost the end of class. Again, this class is by donation, so please donate. If you have absolutely no money, that's okay, I understand. I've actually been at that place for a lot of my life before. Money comes, money goes, money comes, money goes. I'm never totally without, because I am a very lucky soul. But if you have not very much money and it's totally unaffordable for you, what you can do is you can share and you can bring people to this class, and that can be your way of giving back. Okay, so what I am teaching is we always have an exchange, and this especially is also true with intellectual knowledge. And what I'm sharing is intellectual knowledge, lots of my practice. You know, this is essentially work in some ways. If I was in a yoga studio, everybody would be walking in pain. But what I'm doing is I'm leaving it to your own integrity because it's a teaching and it's important. We should have a society where it's like, hey, that was an amazing exchange here. And yes, we have money as this interaction. I'm just like you and have money to interact with others. But if you can't afford it, then do it another way. Share, tell other people about this class, bring people to this class. Okay? There's other ways. If we were in real life and, you know, trade, I'm totally like that. Like, money is not the only one, but it is this main mode of interaction we have in our society. So going into our detoxifying breath, we're using this second drum muscle. It's our second chakra. It's just above the pubic bone. We're breathing out. So if you're an especially cold person, you want to do the Kapalabhati breath, which is breathing out of your nose. If you're a very hot person, you want to breathe out of your mouth. Focus on the out breath. Don't worry about the in breath. Let's all do this together. I'm going to go first out of my mouth, and then I'll go through the Kapalabhati breath. If you are new to this class, again, you might want to go through the previous videos. So always start on an empty channel. That means we take a breath in, breathe out, and then go. Can you see the light in your third eye yet? Hopefully, breathing will create light for you. With your eyes closed, you'll start to see bright, bright, bright light. Like, you know those moments where the sun just shines into the house at the perfect moment, or you catch a glimpse of the sun and it's so bright. This is what starts to happen through breath work in our interior environment. If you're in the dark, that's okay. Guess what? The dark and the light create. That's where we are above. Like, you learn that that's both of you. You. You is something that you discovered through yoga. What is me? What is I? What is okay. Now I'll show the shining skull breath. I love the shining skull breath the most. So I'll continue with it. You continue with what is best for you. Again, always start on an empty channel. I, as always, will end with an Om. The oldest mantra, the only mantra you need to know. AUM, divine vibration with God, Creator, Source Energy, Allah, Krishna. Divine Feminine, whichever one you want to say for this energy, okay? The world needs to stop fighting over an energy that is the same. Doesn't matter the word you use. Words are lower realm anyways. Stupidity that the world could possibly fight over the divine. And possibly think any which way to it is wrong. Okay? All the religions, it's just different ways to the same energy. And to have religions go and say, no, you're wrong, or your way is wrong. And I'm Orthodox, okay? I'm baptized Orthodox Christian, and I am Orthodox and practice real Orthodoxy. And I've gone to an Orthodox funeral, I think, once. I've never gone to church. I don't even know but I get it. I get it innately. But to have what I call lower realms of Christianity go into different places and say that their way of life was wrong when they were and are connected with Creator, going into these indigenous places that are very spiritual in their own way and saying, oh, this is the way you have to do it. I stand strongly against that. Strongly against that. And I will use my words to say that was wrong. You had no right. No right. If you are so good, you just be within yourself and people will come to you. What have you got? How did you get there? That's what should have occurred. Instead, we've had, 1,000 years of Christian crusades, which is created 400, 500 years after Jesus Christ was actually here, created their own forms of Christianity, and then went and spread harm while doing so, brought diseases. We've heard of the residential schools. We've literally taken people away from their culture and their language. I have a big problem with that. And I will use my words. So now I'm going to join me if you wish. I'm a lion, just in case anybody's wondering. On this day, I, Ashley Christina, decree peace to reign on earth. Om Shanti. That's what that means. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti. Peace. Peace. Watch what's happening. I believe there's a lot of advanced yogis that have come back to earth at this time. Om Shanti.